morning AOP. It's Brooke and
Heidi.
We're here doing rockfish surveys in Washington. Today's dive site is somewhere in the Puget Sounds, I think. We're still Puget Sounds?
Still in Puget Sound.
All right, nice. This is our dive site today. So you guys can get a look at what we're doing out here. Now, Heidi, remind us what it is we're doing again out here.
Yeah, we're out here helping in a conservation project to look for rockfish species. So we're going to be looking for the baby rockfish, little guys out there, and if we see a lot, that'll mean the ecosystem is really healthy here.
Awesome. Now, what's the air temp again? Remind me.
Ooh, air temp right now is about 23 degrees, so
Yeah.
It's a little chilly. We're excited to get all our warm layers on before we get in the water.
We suspect the water temperature to be right around, hopefully it's as warm as 45 degrees, although we're feeling like it's probably a little closer to 40, which is what we've been hitting a bit on this trip. So, yeah, we'll catch you guys on the other side.
What you wearing there, Brooke?
So this is what's called a dry suit. A lot of people in Long Beach, California will be super familiar with a wetsuit. And the way the wetsuit works is that it lets water in, the water heats up between your body and the suit, and that's how divers stay warm. However, out here where air temps are as cold as 20 degrees and water temps are in the 40s, that would be a really cold, miserable dive. So we use what's called dry suits. This dry suit, I basically wear warm, fuzzy PJs underneath. So this whole thing is like a warm, fuzzy sweater. I go ahead and I zip it up so I stay nice and warm. And then I fill it up here with air that connects to my BC. I'll press this button and I fill up with air. That's how I stay nice and warm. Additionally, the purpose of a dry suit is to actually keep water out. So it will actually seal at my wrist here. As you can see, there's no room for water to get in there on either side. And it will also seal on my neck like that. So yeah, in here I should stay nice and dry and toasty, and it's how we're able to dive in such extreme climate. So this is what a dry suit looks like. And we also wear tennis shoes because it helps us walk, and they look pretty cool. So yeah, there you have it. That is the difference between a dry suit and a wetsuit, and why you see us wearing something that probably looks pretty funny to people in SoCal. Hey guys, we are post-dive now. Say hi to Heidi. Let me try to flip it. There we go.
Hey.
Hi Heidi. So what kind of stuff did we see out there?
It was awesome out there. We saw tons of baby rockfish everywhere. Pinto abalone, which are endangered, so that was really cool to see one of those marine snails. And tons of sea cucumbers. So, on to our next dive. We've got about an hour or so to get there. It's a very, very long day.
In a quarter mile, at the traffic circle, take the second exit and stay on State Route 20 East.
What she said. Additionally, while we're doing that, we're not just hanging out and having a good old time. We're actually going ahead and logging some of our dives. So we've got a dive log here. We've got our numbers on our computer that we're going through and making sure that we're documenting everything for safety. So yeah, we'll be working on this till we get to our next dive site. Heidi, where are we driving to now?
So we're headed off to our next dive site on the Olympic Peninsula in Washington, and we're really excited because there's a chance we might see some sunflower sea stars up there that are endangered. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we see some of these cool sea stars.
Heidi's going to talk about what our equipment does for people who may not know about diving.
Yeah, so this is my scuba setup. We have a tank of compressed air. It's just regular air, but I have about 3,000 pounds of pressure in here. And then this is what I breathe through. It's called a scuba regulator. So I can press on it and air will come out. And then I have a mouthpiece for during the dive. I have a spare air just in case something were to happen and I needed to give some air to a buddy. I have some emergency supply for them here so they can breathe from my tank as well. This whole kind of vest setup with the shoulder straps is what I'll be wearing like a backpack. And this holds the tank on for me and also is my buoyancy device. So this whole thing is kind of like a life jacket that I can inflate with air and let air out to deflate. And that helps me stay neutrally buoyant. So I can stay right at the level in the water I want without going floating to the surface or sinking too far to the bottom. We also have some weight pockets in here. We have to wear a lot of weight with our gear. So I have about 10 pounds on my gear. And then I'll also wear a weight belt with 8 more pounds. So I'll have about 25 pounds total in weight once I get everything on and all my extra weight pockets.
Math is hard in this weather.
Brains are still a little cold.
What's some of our safety stuff that we have?
Yeah, some of our extra safety equipment. We always have a noise-making device, our very fancy whistle with us here today. And then this is called an SMB, a surface marker buoy. So if I pull it out, it makes a very long tube that I can inflate with air, and that will sit at the surface. We can release it actually while we're underwater and have a little string on a spool that will send up to the surface. That will tell any boats in the area that there's divers below and they won't come near us. And it will also signal to any of our partners on the surface that, hey, this is where we are.
You want to do our checks real quick?
Yeah.
Alright, SPGs at 2,000. I got primary that works, secondary that works. Got 2 drive computers I can fill, I can dump. I can fill, I can dump. I have a weight belt for my weights. I have the same straps, one across the middle, none here, but this connects there. SMB, compass, gloves, masks, pins, hood.
Perfect.
And we already checked my air supply.
Cool. I have the chest belt, waist belt. I can fill here, dump, primary, secondary, still no crouch strap, camera slate, fins, mask, gloves.
Alright, let's go diving.
Okay.
Ready?
We just had a really great dive. What did we see?
We saw tons of sunflower sea stars. We do a ton of conservation work for them here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, so it was really awesome to get to see them in the wild.
Yeah, we saw quite a few, probably 8 or 9 of them.
8 or
All
9.
different sizes.
Yeah, some were as small as like this, and others were like bigger than that, so it was really cool to get to see them out here.
Yeah, I love seeing endangered species in the wild.
And we're a little cold, so we're heading up to the car. The biggest lie they tell you is that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. This is the hardest I've ever worked in my life. Ellen, we wrapped up all our dives today, saw lots of really cool stuff, got you some maybe good footage.
Hopefully.
But don't get ahead of ourselves here.
Yes.
There's Heidi.
Barry, we're on a boat.
We're on a boat. So it's our car, and we got you a window view actually, so you know.
We worked really hard for that.
Yeah. What a way to end the day.
Continue straight onto Washington 104 East.
Here, there's our dive site.
In 800 feet, keep left to
Oh my god,
continue
that's
on Main
wild. We were
Street.
just diving in the water.
Yeah.
It's like underneath
I know
us.
what's underneath this ferry.